I want you to stop now and hear these words as though your very soul depends on them, because it does. You have been given life, breath, purpose. Yet I see in many hearts the same deadly malady, a complacency, a dullness, a lethargy. You are satisfied with mediocre effort. You delay what you know you must do. You hide behind excuses. You shrink from the weight of responsibility. But God calls you higher. He demands of you not excuses, but obedience. He commands not comfort, but consecration. And so tonight I implore you, push yourself and get it done. There is a fire in the heart of every one of you, a flame stoked by dreams, by desires, by longing. But the problem is, you carry that flame in a lantern full of water. You don't fan it. You don't wage war against the dampness. You let the weight of ease smother it. Do you not see? Your lethargy is a sin. Your delay is a denial of what God intends for you. The moment you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you are dead. The Word says today is the day of salvation. Today is the day of decision. Not tomorrow, not later, now. You have made commitments to your vocation, to your family, to your calling. Yet you shirk. The task looms large, and so your spirit shrinks. You say, "I'm tired, I'm worn, I don't have what it takes." But the question is not whether you have what it takes. The question is, will you step into what God has wrought for you? Will you rise? Will you labor? Will you bleed? Will you suffer? For mark, this greatness is never born in comfort. Champions are forged in difficulty, in sweat, in perseverance. It is when everything in you cries cease, when your heart is screaming enough. That is the moment you go further. Believe this. You are capable of more than you think. But you will never know it until you push. You will never see the horizon until you stand at the cliff's edge and leap. You will never know the roar of triumph until you fight through the silence of discipline. There is virtue in the doing, in the grinding, in the forging of your character when the world looks away. Your true opponent is not your competition outside. Your true opponent is the softness within. The indolence, the sloth, the voice that whispers, "Rest now, finish later." That voice is a liar. Crush it, strike it, do not let it live. A man of God once said, "To obey is better than sacrifice." So many of you wait for perfect conditions, for full certainty, for every star aligned, yet the command stands now. Act, move, go. Don't wait for full conviction. Act in the light you have. And when God gives you more light, you act in that. Step by step, you gain momentum. A cripple doesn't begin with 50 miles. He first stands, then limps, then runs. You must start where you are with what you have. Refuse to work only when inspiration strikes. Be faithful in the day of small things. In the doing you find strength. But let me warn you, there will be pain. There will be failure. You will fall flat. You will weep. You will taste bitterness. That is not defeat, that is training. A boxer is bruised before he wins. A tree bends before it becomes strong. You must welcome the chastening, embrace the trial. Sweat and tears are the baptism of perseverance. If your motive is pure, if your aim is righteous, God will use even your failures to shape you. Do not flee from suffering. It is the forge of your character. The man who despises these fiery trials despises the process by which God refines. You say, "If only I had more resources, if only I had more knowledge." But I say to you, you have absolutely enough. Use what is in your hand. Samuel was but a boy, David but a shepherd, Moses but a stutterer. Those who did great things did not wait for more. They launched with little. They trusted God with much. The Master does not demand your strength, but your availability. You are not measured by how full your hand is, but by how yielded it is. Give him what you have, and he multiplies. Every morning when you awaken, gird your loins. Do not roll over to see what your mood dictates. Rise and go. Go to the battlefield. The enemy has already set watch. He will not wait for your readiness. The sluggard begins later. but the warrior enters the fight, though his wounds are not yet healed. He does not ask for comfort, he asks for courage. He does not demand guarantee, he marches on faith. So you gird yourself, put on resolve, enter the fray, and do not relent until the objective is taken. Say to yourself, I will pursue this until completion. Swear it not for show, but in your marrow. Be so determined that when the world says stop, you cry yet more. When the body screams quit, the spirit affirms advance. When every door slams, knock harder. When every obstacle rises, build ladders. When every doubt whispers, shout truth louder. And if you fail having fought, not having waited. That is better, that is honor, that is holy resolve. In your relationships, push. In your callings, push. In your life, push. Do not permit your character to be shaped by ease, by convenience, by comfort. Let it be shaped by sacrifice, by rigor, by fidelity. When temptation beckons you to rest, refuse. When the flesh says you will do tomorrow, do today. A man who never strains never grows. So strain, die to the flesh. Subdue your desires, bring them into captivity to your purpose. Let nothing enslave you, not your whims, not your fears, not your lethargy. You are on a battlefield. Every day is war. The adversary prowls like a lion seeking whom he may devour. He wants you weak. He wants you distracted. He wants you tired. But you are commanded to stand. To stand is not passive. It is active. It is war. To stand means you push deeper. You claim ground. You press on. You do not permit retreat. You refuse to yield. Let your aggression be holy, the aggression of faith. When God calls you to conquer, conquer. Let me ask you, if you died tonight, would your unfinished tasks condemn you as lazy? Would the dreams you abandoned weep against your grave? Would your calling stand unfulfilled, your gift unused, your talent buried? Do not let that be you. Go now. From this moment, rise. Do not wait for inspiration. Act in faith. Work as though your life depends on it, because it does. You were born for this task, this battle, this mission. Seize it, wrestle with it, win it. In every moment resolve, I will not be idle, I will not shrink, I will not be satisfied with half measures. I will push myself, I will rise early, I will labor long. I will bleed, I will learn, I will persevere, I will see this through, and God, who sees all, will honor that discipline. His light will shine in the darkness you push through. His strength will uphold you when your own fails. And when at last the summit is reached, when the battle is won, you will look back and see it was worth every scar, every tear, every sleepless night. But hear this final truth: you will never arrive by ease. Heaven never blooms on a bed of comfort. Victory is always won by cost. The crown is heavy, but that is because it is genuine. The toil is severe, but that is because purpose is real. Push yourself, sweat. Persevere, act now, take the first step. Clench your jaw, clench your fist, and get it done. True progress and fulfillment come not through ease or inspiration, but through daily, deliberate effort, especially when it's hard. You must push yourself beyond fatigue, fear, and excuses, embracing struggle as the path to growth and victory. Waiting for perfect conditions is a lie. The time to move, to build, to fight for your calling is now. You have enough. Use what's in your hand. Obedience, not delay, is the mark of a faithful and effective life. You say you want change. You say you want transformation. You speak of goals, of vision, of a future that looks nothing like the present you inhabit. But do you understand the price? Do you truly grasp the cost of what you're asking for? Because nothing real, nothing lasting, nothing of eternal or earthly value you ever came to a man who would not bleed for it. The gate is narrow, the way is hard, and few find it. And it is not merely talent that leads a man through. It is discipline, not excitement, not a flash of motivation. Discipline, and discipline, by its very nature, is forged in discomfort. You must learn to despise the voice of comfort that whispers in your ear every morning, that tells you to stay in bed, that tempts you with softness, that encourages delay, that excuses mediocrity. That voice is not your friend. It is not compassion, it is compromise, and compromise is the death of greatness. The greatest threat to your progress is not failure, it is comfort. Comfort kills, it numbs, it persuades you that where you are is good enough, and it makes you forget that you were made for more. You cannot walk with purpose and lie down in comfort at the same time. You will either crucify your flesh, or your flesh will crucify your calling. Discipline is the violent rejection of apathy. It is the daily crucifixion of your desire to quit. It is the willful embrace of pain, not for the sake of pain itself, but because what lies on the other side of that pain is purpose, and no man stumbles into excellence. You won't fall into victory. You won't accidentally become who you're called to be. That takes force, that takes blood, that takes sweat, and that sweat won't be glamorous. No one may see it, no one may celebrate it, but God sees, heaven sees, and the man who disciplines himself when no one watches will one day stand where no undisciplined man can stand. If you wait to feel like it, you'll die waiting. Your emotions are not your compass. They're your chains if you let them rule. Your feelings were never meant to lead you. They were meant to be led. The disciplined man rises when the flesh protests. He works when his bones ache. He prays when his soul is dry. He studies when his mind wants rest. He sacrifices what others cling to, not because he's stronger, but because he's submitted. Because he knows the task before him is not about preference, it's about obedience. And obedience doesn't ask how you feel. It demands that you act. You have to wake up and fight yourself. Every day, the war isn't out there, it's in here. The enemy isn't some distant figure. It's the version of you that would rather sleep, would rather coast, would rather blame others for your lack of progress. Kill that man, put him to death, wage war on the voice that says, just a little more rest. That's not rest, it's resignation. Don't confuse passivity for peace. The man who seeks peace without discipline ends up with neither, but the man who embraces discipline finds a peace that cannot be taken because it was purchased through pain. You must make up your mind that your goals are not optional, that your calling is not flexible, that what you set your heart to accomplish will be done, no matter the cost. You must become deaf to excuses and allergic to compromise. If the path to what you're pursuing doesn't intimidate you, then it's not worthy of you. If it doesn't stretch you, if it doesn't demand sacrifice, then it's not your calling. It's just comfort in disguise. God didn't call you to easy, He called you to holy, and holiness isn't cultivated in soft soil. It grows through pressure, through friction, through fire. Every man wants the crown, but who will carry the cross? Who will wake up before dawn and labor while others sleep? Who will silence the cry of their weak flesh with the roar of their inner resolve? Who will say, though I feel nothing, I will still show up. Though I see no fruit, I will still plant. Though I am tired, I will still press on. That's the man who makes it, not the most talented, not the most inspired, but the most faithful, the most consistent, the one who, brick by brick, day by day, in silence and obscurity, lays the foundation of something no storm can shake. Do not despise discomfort. Embrace it. Invite it. Learn to love the ache in your muscles, the burn in your lungs, the tiredness in your eyes, because all of it is evidence that you are not standing still. You are moving forward. You are progressing. And when others fall away because it's too hard, too boring, too demanding, you will still be standing, not because you felt stronger, but because you were more resolved. That's what discipline is. It is resolve. It is grit. It is getting up again and again when quitting would be easier. It's saying, I will not let this day pass without war. Let your hunger for purpose be greater than your hunger for ease. Let your love for the outcome be greater than your desire for rest. Let your fear of regret drive you harder than your fear of failure, because regret is heavier than discipline. One day, the comfort you chose will mock you. It will whisper what you could have been, what you could have done, if only you'd chosen to suffer well. Don't live a life you'll have to apologize to your future self for. Suffer now or suffer later, but only one form of suffering leads to joy. This is not about hustling for hustling's sake. This is not about ambition born in pride. This is about being faithful with what you were given. You were entrusted with time, with energy, with breath in your lungs. And every day you wake up, you are accountable for how you spend it. It is not your right to waste it. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore you work, you grind, you labor, not to earn favor, but because you were made to bear fruit. And fruit doesn't grow in stagnant soil. It grows in toil, in time, and in tears. Some days will feel thankless. Some seasons will feel like a wilderness. But do not measure your success by the emotion of the moment. Measure it by your obedience in that moment. Did you show up? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Then you won. Some of your greatest victories will come dressed as routine, as drudgery, as quiet, unseen faithfulness. But those days matter. They are not wasted. They are the mortar between the bricks of destiny. They are what separates those who dream from those who do, and God sees. You will be tempted to stop. The path will feel too long. The burden will feel too heavy. But that is when you must remember why you started. Remind yourself what you're building, what you're becoming. That vision must burn in your bones. It must keep you up when the world sleeps. It must drive you forward when your legs tremble. And when others call you extreme, rigid, too intense, let that be confirmation. Because no one ever did anything great by being normal, by fitting in. By following the crowd, the disciplined man always looks strange to the undisciplined. But in the end, he's the one still standing. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. People will ask, why do you push so hard? And you will say, because I was not made for mediocrity. You will be called obsessed, but obsession in the right direction is called passion. It's called purpose. It's called calling. And if you are not willing to be misunderstood for your discipline, then you are not ready to do anything that matters. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them sleep, but you get up, go again. Do what needs to be done. Don't romanticize the grind. There's nothing magical about it. It is often ugly, boring, repetitive. But it is the birthplace of every result you desire. The farmer doesn't feel excitement every time he sows seed, but he does it. Why? Because he knows the harvest is coming, and so must you. There is a harvest reserved for those who do not grow weary in doing good, who do not faint, who refuse to stop sowing even when the ground is dry and the skies are silent. That's where champions are made, in the silence, in the dry spells, in the work that no one sees. If you do not master discomfort, it will master you. If you do not choose your pain, pain will choose you. Discipline is painful, but so is regret, so is weakness, so is watching others rise while you remain stagnant, not because you lacked potential, but because you lacked perseverance. Choose your pain. Let it be the pain of pushing through, not the pain of looking back. Let it be the pain of growth, not the pain of staying the same. You will suffer either way. Let your suffering have a purpose. And yes, you will fail. You will fall short. There will be days where your best is not enough. But discipline doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. It's not about never missing, it's about never quitting. When you fall, fall forward, learn, adjust, tighten your grip, and go again. The man who falls 100 times but gets up 101 is the man who wins, not because he avoided defeat, but because he refused to make defeat his home. Every moment you delay is a moment lost, and that moment will never return. You tell yourself you'll begin tomorrow, that you're waiting for the right time, that clarity will come with rest or ease, or a sign from the heavens. But the heavens have already spoken. Life itself is your sign. Breath in your lungs is your signal. The truth is, you're not waiting for the right time. You're avoiding the responsibility of the present. You're mistaking hesitation for wisdom when it is often just fear dressed in more respectable language. You must act, and you must act now, not because you feel like it, but because the window you've been given is already closing. The clock does not pause for your doubts. The world will keep spinning whether you move or not. But you, if you do not act, will remain stuck in a vision that never became flesh. Purpose is not fulfilled by those who merely dream or plan or speak. It is fulfilled by those who step, who move, who strike the ground even when the sky is silent. You can pray, yes. You can seek wisdom, absolutely. But eventually, you must rise from your knees and walk into what has been placed before you. There is a time to listen and a time to do, and many of you are deaf to the latter. You've been given gifts, not by accident, not as decoration. Gifts are weapons, and they are tools. They are meant to be wielded, used, spent. To bury what you've been given in the soil of delay is disobedience. You think you're being cautious, but you are being wasteful. You think waiting makes you careful, but it often makes you cold. The longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes to believe you ever could. Conviction grows when you move, not when you sit. You do not find strength by staring at your fears. You find strength by walking through them. Purpose is not a theory, it is a direction. And once you see it, you are accountable to it. You say you're not ready, but readiness is not a prerequisite for action. It is the result of it. You become ready by doing. You become strong by lifting the weight. You become wise by walking through confusion. Stop measuring your potential by what you haven't done. You'll never feel enough before you start. But the moment you act, the moment you commit, the gears begin to turn. Momentum builds. Confidence grows. Vision clarifies, and suddenly the ground beneath your feet becomes more solid, not because the world changed, but because you did. What have you been postponing? What dream, what calling, what assignment has been simmering in the back of your mind for years? You revisit it in quiet moments. It haunts you while you scroll through the lives of those who dared. You see others stepping into what looks like your place, and you wonder why them, not you. And the answer is simple. They moved. They dared. They pushed past the fog of uncertainty and planted their feet where their heart had long stood. And you still hesitate, telling yourself that your time will come. But time does not come to the man who waits. It comes to the man who takes it. You cannot obey tomorrow. You cannot impact the world from the grave of potential. Obedience is always tied to the moment, not the fantasy, not the someday, now, this moment. This hour, it may not be flashy, it may not be the step you wanted to take, but every purpose is built on small bricks, obscure actions, faithful repetitions. Stop waiting for the grand. Stop waiting for clarity that removes all risk. That day won't come. The fog never fully lifts. The only way to see the path is to walk it. One step, then another, then another. There will be fear, of course there will. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the midst of it. Conviction doesn't cancel out fear. It tramples over it. You will always be tempted to shrink back. The voices will rise. What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if it all falls apart? But what if you succeed? What if that first step cracks the chains you've worn for years? What if the fear is a test, not a threat? And what if God is waiting to meet you in your movement, not in your musings? You were not made to sit. You are not made to drift. You are made to build, to plant, to speak, to lead, to shape. Action is not just how you express purpose, it's how you discover it. You find who you are not by thinking about it endlessly, but by stepping into the storm and learning what you can endure. You realize what you carry when you carry something. You find out how deep your roots are when the winds hit and you refuse to break. Conviction without action is self-deception. It makes you feel righteous while you do nothing. There is an urgency to purpose, not panic but urgency. Life is not endless. Opportunities expire. People move on. Doors close. And if you live as though you have all the time in the world, you will wake up one day with none. The tragedy is not that people aim too high and miss, it's that they aim too low and hit. Or worse, that they never aim at all, that they spend their lives circling the runway but never take flight. Stop circling. The fuel is burning, the hour is late. Take off. Even if your step is small, take it. Even if your voice shakes, speak. Even if your hand trembles, build. You don't need the whole picture to start. You don't need the crowd to applaud you. You don't need the stars to align. You need conviction. You need a why that outlasts your weariness, a mission that's stronger than your doubt. If you have that, then act. Don't overthink the outcome. That belongs to God. Your job is obedience. His is the result. You've seen what waiting too long does. It dulls you. It steals your fire. It lets other voices become louder than your own. Action silences the lies. It breaks the paralysis. Even failure, if it comes, is better than regret. At least failure proves you tried. Regret only proves you didn't. And what you don't start today becomes the burden of tomorrow. Carry enough of those burdens and you'll be too tired to begin at all. That's how dreams die. By delay, not denial. By postponement, not rejection. You will not be perfect. You will mess up. You will have to pivot. But do not let the fear of imperfection keep you from motion. God never demanded perfection before action. He demanded trust. The man who acts in faith, even clumsily, pleases God more than the one who waits for flawless preparation and never begins. Your hesitation is not humility. It's pride in disguise. It says, I must be certain. I must be flawless. I must be strong before I go. But strength comes in the going. Certainty comes in the movement. And humility says, even in weakness, I will move because it's not about me. It's about obedience. Stop telling yourself you'll act when you're more confident. Confidence comes from repetition, not contemplation. The longer you sit, the more the fear grows, but the moment you step, the power shifts. The moment you move, the atmosphere changes. You train your mind and body to respond to purpose, not emotion. And that kind of movement, repeated daily, builds a foundation so strong that no wave can erode it. The disciplined step, the consistent action, these are the weapons of the man who changes the world. Some are waiting for a lightning bolt, for a moment of overwhelming clarity, but clarity often comes after movement. Not before. You want revelation, start building. You want confirmation, start walking. Purpose becomes sharper when you collide with resistance. You'll never find your strength sitting still. You must run to the roar. Press into the storm. Move toward the weight. That's where growth is. That's where transformation lives. And that's where your purpose waits. On the other side of action. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. The smallest step, taken in obedience, carries more power than the grandest vision never pursued. One day of faithful action is more fruitful than a decade of well-meaning delay. You are not responsible for the harvest, but you are responsible to sow. And if you do not sow, you cannot reap. If you do not build, there will be nothing to inhabit. If you do not go, there will be nowhere to arrive. Action isn't just about doing something. It's about becoming someone. Every time you choose movement over passivity, you strengthen your character. Every time you push past hesitation, you forge integrity. And every time you act in obedience to your calling, regardless of emotion or circumstance, you make it harder for fear to win next time. You're not just building a project. You're building yourself. And the most powerful thing you'll ever build is a soul that obeys without delay. So do not wait for applause. Do not wait for validation. Do not wait for someone to tell you that your step is worth taking. Take it because you were made to. Move because it's right. Act because it's time. This is your moment, not next year, not next month. Now, the world is not waiting for more ideas. It's waiting for more doers, for those who will rise when others talk, for those who will sacrifice while others sleep, for those who are not content with potential but demand reality. Don't let your life be a monument to what could have been. Let it be a testimony